Hello, welcome to Mary, the Woman versus the Myth, a documentary series that uncovers the historical and biblical truth about Mary of Nazareth, far from the later traditions, legends, and dogmas that reshaped her image over the centuries. Chapter 4: The Star of Bethlehem and the Magi. In this episode, we continue the fascinating story of the woman clothed with the sun, Christmas, and the birth of Jesus, focusing on the Star of Bethlehem and the tradition of Christmas. Throughout the centuries, many explanations have been proposed for the Star of Bethlehem: a comet, such as the one recorded by Chinese astronomers, a nova or supernova, conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn, among others. However, the analysis of Dr. Myles Jones, an expert in Semitic languages, shows why none of these options, by themselves, fit the biblical account, as well as a series of planetary conjunctions. When the scene of Revelation 12, the conjunctions of Jupiter in Leo and Virgo, and the historical data from the reign of Herod, along with the absence of a year zero, are integrated, the result points to a specific range, usually placed between 6 and 4 before Christ, and even narrowed down to particular months due to the precise alignment of celestial positions. This analysis does not seek to prove faith, but it does demonstrate something remarkable, that the biblical story of the Star of Bethlehem fits surprisingly well with the real sky seen by the ancients. The Magi did not follow a fairy tale. They were neither kings, nor pagan magicians, nor mere astrologers. They were sages and astronomers who followed a celestial language they understood very well. And when that language pointed to a real birth, in a real place, at a precise moment, they did not hesitate to undertake a journey of hundreds of kilometers to honor a king who was still a child. For centuries, the Star of Bethlehem has been portrayed as a magical light, a giant star floating over a stable, guiding kings through a fairy tale landscape, with the same Chaldean sages finding a Jesus barely just born. But that image does not belong to the ancient world. It belongs to the modern imagination. The real question is different. What would a first-century astronomer have seen when looking at the sky on the night Jesus was born? The work of Dr. Myles Jones begins with a clear premise: to use modern astronomy, biblical chronology, and the way the ancients read the heavens to reconstruct what actually happened. Today we have astronomical software, stellar catalogs, and historical tables that allow us to go back 2,000 years and observe the firmament exactly as the Magi saw it. And what emerges is not a myth. It is a precise choreography, the choreography of the heavens. Jupiter, Regulus, and royal language. In ancient astrology, not all celestial bodies held the same significance. Jupiter was known as the royal planet. Regulus, in the constellation of Leo, was literally called the King's Star. Leo was associated with Judah, with royalty, with rulership. Dr. Myles Jones' analysis shows that, within the historical range compatible with the life of Jesus and the death of Herod, this is where the text of Matthew comes alive. In the ancient world, the word star did not necessarily mean a fixed point of light. It could very well refer to a bright planet in motion. The Magi say they saw the star in the east. This fits with an initial appearance of the configuration, a first signal. Then comes the journey, long, costly, deliberate. During that time, Jupiter enters retrograde motion. From Earth's perspective, it appears to stop in the sky. And when the Magi arrive in Jerusalem and then head toward Bethlehem, the text says something striking. The star stood over the place where the child was. Astronomically, that is exactly what a planet in retrograde motion appears to do. In this way, the arrival in Jerusalem, and the visit to the Messiah, the King of the universe, can be recalculated to between December 19 and December 25 of the year 2 before Christ, just days before Hanukkah, while insisting that Matthew makes it clear this visit occurred after the birth, not on the same night as the manger. Possibly, this was the last time the sign of the Star of Bethlehem was seen on a December 25. This also explains why Herod ordered the killing of the children 2 years old and under. But the sign is not the same as the birth. This is the point tradition forgot. The sign in the sky and the physical birth did not have to occur on the same day. Over the centuries, the Greco-Roman Church preserved the date of the sign, but lost its astronomical context and merged sign and birth into a single celebration. Thus, we know that December 25 does not come from the apostles, is not found in the Bible, and yet was not chosen at random. It was a reinterpreted date, not a revealed one, which, along with the coincidence of the celestial sign and existing pagan celebrations, likely gave rise to Christmas being celebrated on December 25. These festivals did not create Christian Christmas, but they did form a cultural environment of winter joy, lights, greenery, and generosity that the Church of the 4th century would eventually occupy and re-signify. In this context, a possible exception appears. A passage in a commentary on Daniel attributed to Hippolytus of Rome, around the year 205 after Christ, which seems to fix Christ's birth on December 25. For years, books and websites cited this text as early proof that there was already awareness of that date, reinforced by a famous statue of Hippolytus discovered in 1551, bearing an engraved Paschal table that includes December 25. What the note does reveal is that by the late 3rd or early 4th century, someone in Rome was already doing the calculations that would soon become famous. The narrative then culminates with the chronograph of 354, an illustrated calendar produced for a Christian aristocrat. In the same document appear, on the one hand, the pagan celebrations of the unconquered sun on December 25, and, a few pages later, the first documentary mention of that same date as Christ's birth in Rome, Natus Christus in Bethlehem, Judea. The juxtaposition shows how quickly the Church filled with its own feast the symbolic space previously reserved for the sun. Rome, pagan festivals, and the chronograph of 354. The script then shifts to 3rd century Rome, where December was already loaded with pagan celebrations long before any Christian Christmas. From December 17 to 23, Saturnalia was celebrated with banquets, gift-giving, the reversal of roles between slaves and masters, and the suspension of courts and schools. On December 25 of the year 274, Emperor Aurelian officially instituted the Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun, with games and sacrifices at the new temple in the Campus Martius, while other solar cults and Mithraism associated the solstice with the renewal of the sun. Meanwhile, in the east, another path emerges. Toward the end of the 2nd century, and certainly in the 3rd, communities in Egypt, Syria, and Cappadocia celebrated January 6th as the great day of Christ's manifestation, Epiphany or Theophany. On that day, they commemorated together the birth in Bethlehem and the baptism in the Jordan, a single feast of God's appearance in the flesh. It is important to note that sermons from the 4th century survive for this date. Basil of Caesarea and Gregory of Nazianzus preach festive orations, and Gregory emphasizes that the Church honors not so much a birthday as the entry of the eternal Word into history and his public manifestation when the voice of the Father resounds over the Jordan. Many Eastern communities would maintain this primacy of January 6th for centuries. And to this day, the Armenian Apostolic Church continues to celebrate Christmas on that date, uniting nativity and baptism in a single liturgy. However, there is still no apostolic mandate, no universally accepted day, and no trace of a Christmas inherited directly from the 12. The Church has Sunday, Easter, and a growing calendar of martyrs, but not yet a feast of the birth in Bethlehem. What does burn brightly in all sources, from Rome to Persia, is the conviction that the eternal Son became flesh, was worshipped by shepherds and magi, and became what we are so that he might make us what he is, in the words of Athanasius. The final minutes point toward the next chapter. Between approximately 270 and 350, the Western Church will choose December 25 as the Feast of the Nativity, and the question will be how exactly it arrived at that decision and what calculations and controversies lay behind it. Apostolic Fathers, passion for the Incarnation, not the calendar. The script then leads us to the Fathers who knew the Apostles or their direct disciples. Clement of Rome, around the year 96, speaks powerfully of the humility of Christ, who, though rich, became poor, but mentions no feast of Christmas. Ignatius of Antioch, on his way to martyrdom around the year 110, calls Jesus God and man, and our God Jesus Christ, carried in the womb of Mary, yet makes no reference to an annual day for the Nativity. Justin Martyr, in the mid-2nd century, defends the virginal conception before Jews and pagans, cites Micah 5 and Isaiah 7, explains why Christians believe a royal child was born in Bethlehem, and still does not say, each year, on such and such a date, we celebrate it. Irenaeus of Lyons lists the great milestones of salvation: creation, Exodus, incarnation, death, resurrection, ascension, Pentecost, without including an anniversary of the birth among the Church's celebrations. Tertullian, around the year 200, mocks the lavish birthdays of pagans while insisting that Christ was a real child, nursed and wrapped in swaddling cloths, yet leaves no trace of a Christian December 25 in North Africa. If you feel you learned something from this chapter, please do not forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell. May you have a blessed day.